Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine named Sam Stage, who's an incredible fiddle player out of the Raleigh area. And Sam and I used to play this local weekly bluegrass gig called Beer and Banjos. And one night, Sam played this remarkable fiddle break. It was insanely weird, super unique, and it genuinely left me dumbfounded. And I asked him, how did you do that? What was that? And I'll never forget what Sam said to me. Sam said, I was trying to improvise like I was a child and I'd lost my mom at the grocery store. For context here, Sam was only like 16 years old. He was by far the youngest person on this gig, and I deeply wanted to make fun of him when he said that to me. But I couldn't because he had just absolutely smoked us with this method. He had just played the coolest thing. So fast forward all of these years, and Sam has now won several fiddle contests. He's attending Berklee College of Music in Boston. He's toured with tons of folks. Maybe most importantly, he's still playing those weird avant-garde fiddle breaks that made me fall in love with his playing to begin with. And quite frankly, I am dying to ask him where he got that technique and how he learned to do it. So we have Sam in the studio today.
I think there's like a lot of stuff in the world that's kind of trying to tell all of us that we just need to read a textbook, we just need to find the right math, we just need to do the right proof, we just need to look at the Rubik's Cube the right way, and if we do the right moves, we're gonna figure out the right thing that's gonna be the best improvisation. At some point I think I got a little bit sick of it, and so I think kind of trying to bust out of the scales or the tab or, you know, whatever all those mathematical approaches are, is kind of like one of the toughest things to do in this really weird way, even though it seems like that would be so easy. Marcel has definitely heard me just crash and burn, you know, but I was trying to kind of figure out maybe a way to look at it that wasn't so boxed, you know, something that felt a little freer, and that's like the elusive thing, you know, that's what we're all out here searching around for, and I think there's some musicians that are able to find it, and those musicians are my favorite musicians, not because of the math.
You're kind of saying something that I've heard before, this sort of like, hey, you know, whatever you feel, play that, and like if you can hear it, play it, and like this kind of advice. But like, Sam, how do I say this? You're like hanging on like the flat 9 over the 1 chord on a bluegrass tune, you know what I mean? Like,
telling me I suck?
Like, I feel like when
true.
a lot of people are like, you know, play what you feel, they mean like, yeah, but, you know, keep it within lines.
Maybe what I feel is actually that weird. Maybe what you're telling me is that I am that weird as a person. but there's this very like Berklee idea called retrospective listening. And what that means is that what happens right now is going to be contextualized by what happens next, right? And so that goes for, you know, chord changes. Maybe a chord sounds really weird, and then a second later it, you know, resolves in some way where we're like, oh, you know, now it's really beautiful. I have more trust in players that are able to do that, even than players that are always sounding good when they're soloing. There's this great video somewhere on the internet. I tried to find it recently and couldn't, which maybe means that Big Bluegrass does not want you to see what happens in this video. But it's Ricky Skaggs, Kentucky Thunder, Billy Contreras on fiddle, and they play Fiddle Patch. You know, he's a monstrous fiddle player, so he just shreds it down. You know, it's like Fiddle Patch, awesome. They trade breaks around. It's, you know, it's awesome bluegrass. And it gets back to Billy, and he just plays the craziest break. I mean, it's so outside. It's like, you know, you're like listening to just the tightest bluegrass pocket hammering away, and just like, here's John Coltrane, you know, just like over the top. Like, it's like we've left planet Earth, you know, we're looking down on the blue world from outer space. It's like, oh. And I sometimes think about that because I don't know that I would be brave enough to do that in a band of some of the world's best bluegrass players. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that you might not be brave enough to do that, because I saw you playing with, well, I won't say the band name, but I saw you playing with a group. Everyone in the group was playing these straight ahead breaks, and they were getting like, you know, applause and stuff. It was going fine. But then every time you played, you would play, you know, one of your Sam solos. You'd play some weird stuff, and the whole room would just erupt. So I feel like Maybe it wasn't with Ricky Skaggs, but I feel like I've seen you do that.
I mean, there's a reason still that I look up to that Billy Contreras break, because I think kind of being uncompromising on what you think is really contributing to the music is kind of one of the most admirable things, you know? I think it's good for all of us to see people be ferociously themselves, whatever that may or may not mean. Because I think that's, you know, that's the way to, you know, applause. That's the way to connect, I think, with any audience, is to be like, here's what I'm saying. And if you know what it is, I think people will like it.
I remember one time I was playing a gig at a brewery. I was doing the classic kind of bluegrass guitar thing where it's all 8 notes, right? You're filling in like every single gap, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I had worked myself into kind of a spot on the neck that I wasn't familiar with. And I had to play like a bunch of weird stuff to like kind of get out and get somewhere familiar again. And I was so in my head, like I'm in here like, fix it. How are we going to fix it? Like, how are we going to get out? How are we going to like solve the equation? And when I finished, the brewery crowd just erupted in applause. And I was like, what? You know, I was so up here. I was almost like, you guys saw that?
Yeah. And they always do. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
They saw that I was having trouble or like scared, and then I fixed it, and they loved that. And it's almost like you're intentionally allowing yourself to be like scared, vulnerable. It was an accident when I did it, but you're doing it on purpose sometimes.
All jokes aside, I feel like you said something that I really resonate with, which is that music is vulnerable. And my favorite music a lot of times is the most vulnerable music. Which is this super funny dissonance, I think, with how a lot of us may approach bluegrass, right? It's like, well, if I can't be Tony Rice, I don't really know why I would do this, you know? And I'm not trying to sit here and be like, you know, it's all about being vulnerable, you know, go out there, play those things you can't play. You know, you go out there and show the world how bad you can really do it. That is not... I've been there, you know, I've been there. Marcel has been there when I've been there. And it's, you know, it's lonesome. That can be kind of sad.
Yeah.
I have a friend that says this, and it's so funny because it's the simplest sentence ever, but it's just music too. You know, it's just music. And, you know, I think there's a little bit of like, almost like surrender that's involved in just knowing that music is going to be music and you can't control everything all the time. So
No.
That's really what I'm getting at.
So for the second half of this interview, my plan is to use the chord changes from Foggy Mountain Special and then give Sam some emotional seed information, give him sort of a trigger phrase, and see what kind of thing he improvises over those chord changes. Now, if you're looking at this with your bluegrass hat on, you're probably going to have a bad time. Think about this more like Sam is going to try to play something he's never played before. Whether it works or doesn't, or whether it's super musical or super hip or not, it doesn't matter. He's just trying to convey that emotion. So listen for that and see if you can hear just how free and open this guy is. He's not afraid of making mistakes, and I think that is really powerful. Anyway, listen to Sam do this. All right, so we got Sam rigged up here. We're going to play a little game. Sam is controlling a backing track, Foggy Mountain Special. I have several emotional scenarios here, and we're going to give Sam one pass of Foggy Mountain Special to try to convey that emotion. I forgot these since I wrote them.
I can tell this is about to be evil.
I forgot these words. When you're excited for the first day of school.
Wait, who's excited for the first day of school? What is this?
This is a nerdy character.
What is this? All right, let me just summon my excitement. Let's do that again. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's so bold though. You're like, here's my little like rhythmic and melodic motif, and you're like, that's it. That's excitement. And like, I nailed it, so like, here it is again. All right, let's do another one. A guest who's overstayed their welcome finally leaves.
Oh, ooh, okay. Overstayed. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
remarkable how different those ideas are, though. They're totally different.
Well, in one of them I'm excited, and in the other one I'm like, I'm all
Just
tangled
go
up, I'm
already.
like, I feel so awkward, it's so guilty because you didn't want to kick them out, but you needed them to leave. So I just thought I'd reach for, something nice and uncomfortable. Nice and uncomfortable on that one.
Nice and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I love it. This next suggestion is from my wife, and the suggestion is how peaceful the toilet paper aisle feels. I don't know if you've ever experienced this in a grocery store, but a lot of times when you walk into the toilet paper aisle, it's really quiet because of all of the sound dampening.
1, 2, 3.
Toilet paper. It's about getting there, it's about being in the aisle with the toilet paper. Every musician's deep secret.
Okay, next one is when you miss the bus in the rain, and now you gotta walk.
Have I done my homework, or do I not have my homework either? Is this, how bad are we talking?
It's a very bad day.
Very bad situation. Code red. All right, code red. How old am I?
Let's say you're like a college student.
Oh, this is
like an adult experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
that almost makes it worse. I hate it when it's an adult experience. That's my least favorite.
This isn't a school bus. This is a city bus.
This is a city bus. This is my life. Like Boston, welcome
Yeah.
to Boston, welcome to Berkeley. Oh man. All right.
1, 2, 3.
It's the
deep
rage
pain,
coming out.
The rage. It's slow to build sometimes. It takes it a second.
You were seething, and then
You have to let the pot boil. A little bit.
this is your last one, and it's a callback when you've lost your mom in the grocery store. A classic Sam Stage idea.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Getting weird.
Yeah, good.
It's getting weird, guys.
There's such a searching thing about it.
Where is she?
Yeah.
Are you my mother?
You're looking around. Where is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so
that's a favorite of
crazy.
mine for sure. And I'd also like to add that I don't think that these solos are even how I would necessarily solo. And I mean maybe, but but necessarily how I would approach a tune like this. I think it's more about kind of exploring what all your options might be given what you have under your fingers, and realizing that you can use those combinations in so many ways. Music is about how you feel, and I think that's the theme of our little discussion here. And there's a lot of room to do a lot of math and be really informed, and have a lot of fun in the playground of soloing. But there's also a lot of room to just be in touch with a scene that you make up in your own brain that makes you feel some kind of way and unlocks something for you. So I think it's a power of belief thing in a way. It's like, where do you believe you're coming from right now? And that's like changes everything. I have a teacher at school that once said to me that you can only move in ways that you can picture yourself moving physically, right? So you can only play in ways that you can imagine yourself playing. So that's a lot of the trick, I think, of this. Let's get somewhere else.
Thank you so much for hanging out, Sam.
Man, thanks for having me. So glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I love when you're back in town and we get to play and talk a little bit. Hey, if you like this, you should check out some of the stuff. We have lessonswithmarcel.com. We got a bunch of guitar tabs, some merch. You can sign up for private lessons, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. See you later.
Yeah, it's a weird sound, and also I can't play it. Also, I can't play any songs. Do you guys like John Coltrane? Berkeley is here. We'll never escape. Big Berkeley is in the room with us.